Welcome to Reality Bytes on New-B.tv. I'm Craig with Jose, CJ, and Dave. And today we're going to discuss the evolution of controllers. From the very beginning to today's wacky innovations and beyond. In the beginning there was Pong, and from that an explosion of controllers and peripherals have flooded the scene.
Yeah, Dave, you're actually pretty good at all the Pong.
Well, before Pong, there was actually a game called Space War, which was just had buttons and knobs on a computer. It was only basically made in colleges and universities and nerds from MIT. And then you had Pong, which was in 1958 made by Willie Higginbottom, Bothan. And that was in 1958 made at Brookhaven National Laboratories on Long Island, where I'm originally from.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was very cool.
A little information on Dave.
Yes. It was actually done on an oscilloscope, and it had like a little thingy that was basically a circuit board with a like the original
dial.
Thank you. The original paddle with the one button on it, and basically you just did it back and forth. We've all played Pong. We've seen emulators of it.
It's about as retro as you can get.
Yes, you cannot get any more lamer than
That'll
that.
show the hipsters.
But from that, the paddle then was brought onto the American Box Odyssey, which was the original. One of the original systems to use that, and from there you got the joystick and so on and so forth.
And they were the first ones that have a gun, and I wish we had one to show you, but they're really rare.
Hard to find.
And
we finally got from there to the Nintendo. That's what we have here, and this controller basically set the curve for all the ones that came after it. It's a really good design, even though, you know, it's something like a square. The two buttons, start and select, and then the D-pad. And the D-pad's actually really important for all the things that came after it as well.
It's also very, very small, so it's actually perfect to hold in your hand, even if you are a child. It's small enough.
Yeah, it's made for a child audience anyway. That's what they got in there.
Easily.
Or a man-child.
Yeah,
it's what we all are.
Yeah.
We're all man-child.
But Nintendo has always been the greatest innovator of controllers of all time to this day, and even with the Wii motion controls, even the Xbox and PlayStation 3 have emulated it in their own ways. I mean, look at this thing. How do you hold this thing? Huh?
I don't know why they added the stick in the middle.
Yeah.
No, the stick in the middle was actually the first analog stick, and it was used for 3D gaming. And the original game that it was used for, or the idea behind it, was the Mario Brothers that came out with the N64 at the time.
Oh, Mario 64?
Yes, thank you, Mario 64. That's why they came up with it, because it's a lot easier to use. Something like this is great for Super Mario Brothers. You know, you got the jump button or the run fast button, and basically that's it. And it does have 8 directional controls: up, down, left, right, and the diagonals.
I actually have a question for all of you. What do you enjoy better, the D-pad or a joystick? Honestly,
the joystick gives you more range. In fact, with the newer controllers, they integrated the joysticks perfectly for setups for like first-person shooters or anything to really immerse you into the video games. I mean, you can have full control. I mean, I feel like I am that character with holding this controller. You can control, you know, which way you're looking, which way you're going. You could perfectly control your character, and that is completely immersed.
Yeah, I agree. I believe the analog sticks are just a lot more natural feeling. You have the whole entire full 360 degrees of motion.
Yeah, evolution of how gaming was in the retro years.
Yeah,
the D-pad was perfect for, you know, 2D games, side-scrolling, you know, shmups and such. But in this day and age, we have all kinds of motion controls and the future of controllers. What do you guys think? You think that motion controllers are going to take over? Is it going to be controllerless like the Kinect? You know,
I actually feel like it's kind of probably going to go where the Kinect is going right now. Because they basically, like what Nintendo has done throughout the ages, is they tried to put both feet forward and have the new idea. But right now, Microsoft has done that with the Kinect, and it may have not paid off at the beginning, but it certainly will later. And they're going to be the ones to head the new generation of different types of controllers in gaming, I feel.
Well, I don't know about that per se, but the Kinect, I don't think has been used to its fullest potential yet.
No.
And I think with the Kinect also, you're going to need the peripherals, the accessories, to give you that extra sense, whether it's just a gun, you know, there's these first-person shooter games, and you run around, but there's no gun. I mean, that's just...
Well, they may need a
So you're saying that's gimmicky.
It is gimmicky, but Microsoft did a very cool thing with it. It was a very good idea. It was very innovative. It's open for... It's still got a long ways to go before we actually see something really cool.
But so did the
I personally would like to see some sort of pod you stand on, the floor moves in all directions.
Virtual reality.
Then you walk.
You got
actually
gloves
walk,
on, a bodysuit on. You know, you feel when you get shot. You do. It's the way we're going. Like, you know, hopefully one
We're
day
going
things
towards
will be
more
really cool.
immersiveness into gaming.
Definitely. But I will say, like, in terms of immersiveness, like games like Silent Hill, for people that grew up on games, immersiveness wasn't really a problem because the controls, you automatically adhered to it from the previous generation. So, like, if I was playing Silent Hill, the controller wasn't a controller anymore. I was in there. And now, like, they're making it easier for everyone else. The Kinetic is for, you know, other generations to go in. They never had previous generations of controllers to map their hands.
I'm not too sure if like the whole entire camera-based motion controls are really going to take off. At least not anytime soon. I still think that at the end of the day, people are so accustomed to having a handheld controller in their hand.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know about you guys, but I feel
That's our
that I could play games a lot more efficiently with a handheld controller rather than just trying to focus on shooting something whenever you're just ducking and dodging like an idiot and moving all around. And I don't know, like you tend to lose more. You tend to lose more focus, is what I'm trying to say, moving around, because it's much more distracting, whereas if you could just sit down comfortably with a handheld controller, it's just more efficient.
This thing is just precise.
You know, each movement is just... You don't have to worry about lag or anything like that.
Well, it's part of the reason why you see the games on Kinetic, like, they're party games and stuff like that. They don't have, like, a Gears of War for Kinect, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to make, like, Forza to make... They want Forza 4 to be a Kinect game.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how they're going to integrate going faster, you know? You don't have, like, pedals.
So
it's like how Superman flies faster.
Kinect is a great idea, but we
Right.
still need the peripherals for it. We need the foot pedals for cars. You know, like, you know what? Come up with a thing. We sit in our couch and we sit there and the Kinect's watching our movements.
You look like an idiot.
With a car game, it might be kind of
well, for
hard,
something
but,
like with a camera, a peripheral wouldn't be a peripheral anymore. It's actually the actual thing you're using. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I get what you're saying. But going back to what Jose was saying, camera thing, I think jumping around the living room might be a cool idea. If you got a big enough living room and you get like
in a big enough TV,
you're playing Call of Duty and you gotta like dodge behind the couch, like take cover, jump behind the couch. You know, the dog gets scared, he runs out of the room, and all. You know, that would be pretty cool. You jump up and throw a grenade. And,
well, part of it, I feel like it gets new to audiences in there.
It does. The Kinect is good for the next generation. We grew up with this. This is our generation right here, and it's being weeded out in a sense by motion control.
Well, Nintendo started it.
Well, I don't know.
It was a very good idea. I love playing Zelda Skyward Sword, or Twilight Princess.
Yeah,
with that because I just love blocking with the shield.
Yeah,
it has its lag, but it's still pretty cool.
But when it comes down to it, I feel like this has been the tried and true method, the best way to play video games. It's always been the best controls, and there's been 100 different peripherals and accessories that have come and went and failed, and some have worked, but this...
It's definitely
The
greatest thing about these are the thumbsticks are what because you were saying, especially with first-person shooters, you can use one controller to move your view, and the other one uses your direction, so it makes strafing awesome in video games, such as like Call of Duty and any first-person shooter of that type. That's just, I love that. Instead of hitting the, like the strafe button, the left button,
I also feel that you can only do so much with the Kinect because most of it, if you look at the video game library that has been designed specifically for the Kinect, and I'm not talking about games that have features that were thrown in at the very last minute just for the sake of using the Kinect, but games that were specifically designed to use the Kinect in mind, they're very
casual.
They're more for the casual market, but that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing.
Yes, but the point that I'm making is that it's the same games over and over again. Like there is so much R&D invested into the Kinect, so much technology, and so many cool new things that are in there. But what games do we have now for the Kinect? It's the same stuff. It's fitness games. There's dance games.
Lack of library.
Yeah, it's like all this new technology into the Kinect.
But you have to realize it's not for us right now.
It's not for us, but it's marketed towards us.
But next month, or actually, I believe this month now, September, there is a game called Rise of Nightmares coming out for the Kinect. And it's the first game that actually, it's a horror game.
Yeah.
And you're going around and you have to hack people up with chainsaws and cut their heads off with machetes. It looks really cool.
Yeah, that's my type of game.
It's actually, I might go and jump the gun or jump on the wagon and get the Kinect and try this game just because I love horror games.
Yeah.
And I love hacking and slashing.
But as of now, I feel like the Kinect is sort of one of those gimmicky things.
It is.
And speaking of gimmicky items, we're going to go back to retroness with Andrea and her Rob, the robot.
Thanks, Craig. The video game crash of North America happened in 1983 and lasted about 2 years. This resulted in many companies going into bankruptcy. There were many reasons behind the crash, a few of which were poorly made games, too many consoles with not enough public information, loss of control on game publishing, and the rise of computers. After all those, people lost confidence in the gaming industry, leading many retailers to no longer sell home consoles, meaning this crash mainly affected the industry and not the consumer. Fast forward a couple years later, the American gaming industry was refreshed by the widespread success of one console, the Nintendo Entertainment System. There was something special about this system, as it came with a new kind of accessory. In Japan, it was known as the Family Computer Robot, but here in the States, we called him Rob, Robotic Operating Buddy. Rob made his debut in America on October 18, 1985. Rob was sold as part of a deluxe set that featured the game Gyromite. Sold separately was another game Stack Up. Each game came with their own set of accessories compatible with Rob. Although Rob seemed like a great idea at the time, these were the only 2 games that were ever created for him, which ultimately led to his short lifespan. Despite his short shelf life, Rob has never been forgotten. His cameo list includes Kirby's Dream Land, WarioWare, F-Zero, Star Tropics, Beautiful Joe, and Pikmin 2. You can even unlock his character in Mario Kart DS and Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And to make his fame even better, he is also one of the most critically acclaimed gaming devices ever. Yahoo ranked Rob as one of the craziest gaming controllers. GameSpy also listed him as one of the 25 smartest moves in gaming history, rounding out the top 5, which I find funny because he looks like Johnny No. 5. Even though he only worked with 2 games, Rob is one of the most revered controllers in gaming history. Because who knows, without him the gaming industry may not have recovered and be what it is today. So thanks, Rob. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and also newbsite.com. See you guys next time.